What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CFE podcast. We're back after an extended period of travel and mostly travel, actually. That's really all it chalks down to. And it's been a very interesting couple of weeks. The ACC has imploded on itself. And let's just hop right into it. Let's just go conference by conference. Let's just kind of track what's happened the past few weeks and do a little bit of outlook on the conference. So let's start with ACC. Beck, what do you got for us?
Yeah, kind of starting out there. Yeah, as you said, ACC conference implosion. You had the first college football playoff poll. You had Virginia and Louisville both in the top 15. Everyone had Miami in the top 5 earlier in the season. Virginia goes and loses last week versus Wake Forest. Louisville at home to Cal. I don't know how you lose as an ACC team at home versus Cal, but they did.
I thought they were at Cal.
No, it was at Louisville.
Was it actually?
Yeah, which makes it so much worse.
That does make it worse.
Then you have, the Miami team that everyone expected after how well they started the season to be the threat. And then Carson Beck turned into Carson Beck, and they dropped 2 games versus Louisville and at SMU. SMU won in overtime, but
The SMU game was crazy.
yeah, I missed that. I missed watching that one live, but watching the highlights back, it was nuts.
It was crazy.
Jennings still has something, and Lashley at SMU has only lost 1 conference game in the 2 years in the ACC so far, I think. So, Speaking of SMU, still with only 1 loss in the ACC.
That's crazy. So, Beck, how do you think the ACC is going to turn out in terms of conference championship and playoff contention?
I think conference title game is going to come down to, I think Georgia Tech has a very favorable schedule the rest of the way, being at Boston College, who's terrible. They do have a tough game versus Pitt to finish out ACC schedule. We'll see how real Pitt is this week as they host Notre Dame. But so we'll see on that one. And then they finish out with Georgia, which is non-conference. But so I think Georgia Tech gets a spot. I think they win both of those games. And I think they end up playing. Let me look at this schedule real quick. SMU's got a tough one versus Louisville and at Cal. We're recording this as Clemson's about ready to beat Louisville.
Yep.
So that knocks Louisville completely out.
Virginia plays Duke this week too, so that's a big one.
Yeah, and I think Duke is correctly favored in that game. Which, speaking of, let's talk about Duke a little bit. That they are 5-4, but only one of those losses is in conference.
Yeah.
Meaning they're 4-1 and finish out the season, as you just said, hosting Virginia and then at North Carolina and versus Wake Forest. What would happen? First, to answer your question earlier, I think it's Georgia Tech versus, honestly, probably Duke in the ACC title game.
Yeah.
Is my current thought. Where are you leaning?
Yeah. Definitely Georgia Tech. Yeah, honestly, probably Duke. Virginia won't, because their quarterback's hurt, right?
I was seeing today that he might play this week. but Kalen's not. I don't think Danny Kalen's gonna get them a win versus a high-powered Duke team.
Yeah. If Virginia's quarterback is healthy, maybe Virginia, but I think it's probably Duke, Georgia Tech. I would agree with you. Duke has just enough to get there.
Which is crazy when they just lost at UConn, who, yes, I think they're 7-3, but they're not good.
I think
So
their quarterback was up for a little Heisman talk, I believe.
for UConn?
I believe so. And that list that you had sent me, I think.
Yeah, he was getting a little hype. But oh yeah, that's why. Because UConn's quarterback has 25 touchdowns and 0 picks on the season, which is impressive.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
That is wild. My goodness. Yeah, he should be in the Heisman conversation with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Virginia finishes at Duke and then versus rivalry versus Virginia Tech, which will be tough just due to being the in-state rival.
Yep.
But they have a bye week in between those, though, which ACC with their crazy bye weeks.
I think it's Duke, Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and there's a chance that none of them get in.
Right. So, what happens when Duke wins out? They go 8-4. They beat Georgia Tech in the title game. So now Georgia Tech has at least 3 losses, assuming they lose to Georgia.
Yep.
Do you think an 8-4 Duke with losses versus Illinois, Tulane, and Clemson is ranked above a James Madison team at 11-1 with their only loss at Louisville?
No.
I don't think so either. And they're definitely not above the American Conference champion because, I mean, they lost to Tulane, and I think USF's going to run the table there. And USF's just a better team than Duke.
Yep.
With a much better resume.
Yeah, it's Miami have left. NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt. That's who Miami has left. So if Miami wins out, they could get an at-large bid for sure.
They could.
Miami really needs Duke to lose another game.
Yeah. I don't even think Miami gets. I don't think they win out, honestly. I mean, Carson Beck has. I had it up earlier, but Carson Beck's not been good this year. He's got 15 touchdowns, 9 picks.
Yeah, that's not good.
So, as I keep hearing, they have probably the best looking roster from the coming off the bus in the country.
Yeah.
But they don't have the mindset for it. I think they drop 1, if not 2 of these games, especially since looking at the schedule for this year. I think ever since like week 6, they've been playing nonstop because they had both their bye weeks really early, which does not help them at all.
Yep.
So
it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, ACC doing ACC things as always.
Absolutely. Big 12, Beck. I think we can both agree Texas Tech is the clear favorite.
Definitely. I think Texas Tech has this one. I think they have the conference wrapped up. I mean, they play UCF and at West Virginia. They should win those games by 30.
Yep.
And then probably a decently tough conference title game versus whoever they play, but I think they
I think Pate said he thinks it's Cincinnati.
I would agree with that because I think BYU drops one, if not two, of the next two games because they're home
Yeah.
versus TCU this week, and then they go to Cincinnati for basically who
Yep.
gets the berth.
Yeah. So Cincinnati and BYU do play each other.
Mm-hmm. In Ohio.
Yep.
But both teams have difficult schedules though the rest of the way. Both teams play TCU, and then Cincinnati's playing Arizona this week, and the other team BYU plays is UCF, which has a good defense at least. So that could be interesting.
Yeah.
And if all that craziness happens, that opens the door for Houston, Utah, Arizona State. Probably more Utah than anything, but
Yeah. Utah. Yeah. Probably Utah. Utah is definitely that third. I feel like that third team peeking in a little bit.
mm-hmm.
And then Arizona
So
State without Sam Levitt is a little tough.
yeah, isn't he out for the season now?
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, we know their quarterback is really good, Jeff Sims. So
Freak of nature athlete.
has no control of his body though. He can run in a straight line. He's good at that.
It's true. He's fast. He's very fast. He's a cool
But
dude.
he is. But
Um.
yeah, I'll say Texas Tech and Cincinnati. But
Yeah.
I'll put this to you. Does the Big 12 get two teams in the playoffs this year?
Um.
With Utah already
No.
sitting at 13 in the
No.
playoffs. No.
No.
Should they?
So who does Utah have left? They've got Baylor, K-State,
Mm-hmm.
Kansas.
All good teams. Baylor's somewhat of a
I
mess right
think
now.
I think if Texas Tech, okay, say we get to the Big 12 championship, and Texas Tech
Mm-hmm.
is 11-1 playing a 10-2 team, and the 10-2 team beats Tech, and Tech is 11-2, and the other team is 11-2. I think both teams should get in.
And they would at that point because if Texas Tech runs the table, they're going to be ranked like fifth or sixth. You're not. I mean, there is zero chance you should fall out of the playoffs if you lose a conference title game at that point.
I think that's the only way it happens that they get two in.
You don't think Utah can get their way in if they went out and don't make the Big 12 title game?
Do you think that, I guess, do you think Baylor, K-State, and Kansas are enough to catapult them against an at-large SEC team?
I mean, it depends on how you look at it. I'm trying to. So they're already above Vanderbilt,
Yep.
and I think they'd stay there even if Vandy beats Tennessee. It'd be close, but teams you're looking, they're going to jump. I mean, Texas has to play Georgia and Texas A&M. Texas loses both of those games. Utah should jump them, and then you
Mm-hmm.
probably need one more spot after that. I mean,
I don't.
BYU loses. That's your other spot. And then they're sneaking in as the 11 seed.
Yeah. So theoretically, the Big 12 could get 3 in.
Yeah.
That would be
Which
awesome.
would be awesome.
I'd love that.
Yeah. Probably the same amount as the Big 10 at this rate.
I'm going to show my cards. I don't think Texas is beating Georgia this weekend.
Okay.
So I think that clears up a spot. If Utah wins out, they have a really good shot. And then say Cincinnati wins out and goes, and Texas Tech wins out, then, and if Cincinnati pulls off a miracle and beats Texas Tech.
Hey, they just need to pull a K-State.
Yeah, just do.
From a few years back with Will Howard.
I'd love to see the Big 12 get 3 in.
I would too. And I do think they would deserve it at that point. Because if you get a Cincinnati team that runs the table, your only losses are to the best team in the country, Nebraska, and then at Utah.
Yep.
And Utah's only losses is Texas Tech, which would likely be a top 5 team at that point.
Yep.
And then at BYU, which is a rivalry match and a top 15, 20 team. So, and Utah's been blowing everyone else out of the water. So,
yep. Well, yeah. So I guess go Cincinnati, go Texas Tech, and go Utah. I'll just win out, and then for Cincinnati to beat Tech in the championship game.
Yeah, or BYU if they beat Cincinnati.
Or BYU. Yep. Yeah. I think the best case scenario for everybody to get for 3 to get in would be if BYU did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think Cincinnati, if they win out and then win the championship, they would get in?
Definitely. I think they're over any ACC team.
Okay. Cool.
Especially as conference title winner.
Especially if we win out, that makes Cincinnati's loss look that much better.
Mm-hmm. But also the committee tends to ignore first half of the season games, so which I don't necessarily disagree with. At least putting less weight on them, but
yep,
it's interesting.
All right, SEC Beck. I think A&M. Well, okay, who do you think is going to be in the championship? I think A&M is for sure a lock.
I agree.
And then
I think it's Bama.
You think Bama?
Because I don't think they lose both the games because they have a bye week versus Eastern Illinois.
Yeah.
In 2 games. So you got 2 conference games left, and it's home versus Oklahoma and at Auburn. I don't think they lose both of them.
I don't think they're losing Oklahoma this week.
I don't either. Auburn's always a game, but no matter what, they're going to be above Georgia because they beat Georgia. And I think it then stacks that then Georgia beat Ole Miss, so then they're overhead of Ole Miss. I'm not sure the tiebreaker on that, but
yeah,
I would pick them to win the last 3. So I have A&M and Alabama. So
yeah, okay, I'd probably agree with that.
So along those lines, how many do you think the SEC gets in the playoffs? I would say right now, today, predicting it out, I would say 4. Those being A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss.
Yeah, I agree. 4.
But I do think the doomsday scenario of them all going 10-2 is possible, adding in Texas, Vanderbilt, and Oklahoma.
That would be crazy.
The one I'm fascinated to see is Vanderbilt because I think it's a bye week this week.
Yeah. And then
And
they
then
play. I know they play Tennessee.
Yep, it's Kentucky next week, and then at Tennessee to finish. And I don't think Tennessee's that good. I
Yeah.
have no idea why Tennessee's ranked personally, because Tennessee's best win is like Mississippi State in overtime.
Yeah.
So just because Tennessee's has some close losses, I don't understand why they're ranked, other than to prop up the SEC teams. But I think Vandy could definitely win that game. And then a 10-2 Vandy would be very interesting, especially versus like a 10-2.
A 10-2 Vandy would be really hard to keep out of the playoff.
Correct. But they're already behind a 10-2 Utah. And they're already behind a possibly 10-2 Notre Dame.
And BYU.
And possibly an 11-1 BYU. That'd be interesting if like BYU lost to Cincinnati, how far they would drop. But
I'm gonna say the SEC gets 4 in probably, and then at worst, like you said, all the 10-2 teams.
and then they possibly get 7 if everything else goes wrong for the rest of the country.
Yeah. Anything else to say on SEC?
Not really, other than they probably have the most exciting games, if not just this week, but probably the rest of the season, just with how top heavy those matchups are.
Yeah. I really hope. I'd love to see A&M win the Natty this year. I think that'd be so fun if they won the Natty.
That'd be really cool. Yeah, I can always support the Aggies with the old Big 12 team that isn't UT.
Yep. Also, Minnesota scored. It's 28-13.
Come back.
Maybe. All right. Big Ten. It's pretty clear. Ohio State, Indiana, they're basically a lock unless Ohio State does what they always do and lose to Michigan.
I mean, let's state this fact. If both Michigan and Ohio State win out, and then Michigan beats Ohio State, Michigan is in the Big Ten title game, and Ohio State's out. Granted, if USC wins out, I think they get in over Michigan.
They do, yeah.
Either way, if Ohio State loses to Michigan, they're out of the Big Ten title game, most likely, which is hilarious.
So, okay. Michigan has precedence over USC. No.
USC over Michigan.
USC over Michigan because USC beat Michigan. And then if USC won out, they would also beat Oregon. So
Correct.
Oregon wouldn't be in it. And yeah, so it'd be USC, Indiana.
That'd be a fascinating game.
That'd be a super interesting game.
I'd love to see that game.
Yeah,
won't happen, but
is the Michigan game in Ann Arbor?
I think it's in the shoe this year. Nope, it is Ann Arbor.
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought they were in the shoe last year. Honestly,
it doesn't matter.
Michigan could win that game. That'd be crazy.
They've won 4 straight. Each of them, no one thought they would win, except maybe the national championship year.
No,
that's the only year.
No, Justice Haynes hurts bad.
Is he out for the year?
I believe so.
I know he's been out for a while, but I think you're right. Foot surgery. They're looking to get him back at some point this season. What I'm quickly reading. That could be bowl games now. But if he's back to the Ohio State game, that'd be huge.
I would love to see Northwestern take down Michigan tomorrow.
It's possible. I mean, Michigan's been iffy the last few weeks. Almost lost to Michigan State, almost lost to Purdue. But they just had a bye week. Good reset, get the freshman quarterback some time to watch some film.
Yep.
And then it's at Northwestern at Maryland. I think Michigan could very well be 9-2 going into that Ohio State game.
Be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Make that game as good as always.
Yep. I feel like Big Ten is at most getting 4 teams in, but I think it's more than likely just 3.
Because Oregon, USC are going to take each other out.
Yep.
I mean, they could both make it if USC beats Oregon in a close game, because then Oregon's 10-2.
Yeah.
And then Michigan could make it if they beat Ohio State and win out. I think they get in at that point. So I think in absolute crazy scenario, I think Big Ten could get 5.
Yeah.
I think chaos would have to happen.
Yep.
But 5 is possible. But I agree. Yep. I think it's 3. I think it's Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon.
Yeah.
Which all could win the national championship, which is nice.
Yep.
I don't think the other 2 could. So that'll be interesting.
Yep. As much as it pains me to say this, because I picked him to go 8-4, I do think Ohio State is the best team in the country right now.
I tend to agree just how much they've handled teams and have not played a close game. But I honestly haven't watched them at all this year. Because they haven't, like, I watched
do what they need to do. That's all they do. They just do what they need to do.
But, like, look at their schedule. Killed Minnesota. Beat Illinois somewhat soundly. I mean, it was only 34-16, but they had control of that game.
Yep.
Killed the Wisconsin team. Killed the Penn State team, which is somewhat impressive after what they did to Indiana.
Yep.
And then they killed a Purdue. And then they finished with UCLA and Rutgers. They had a cupcake schedule this year.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no Oregon, no USC, no Indiana, no Iowa.
Thing about a preseason, though, was that Texas was number 1. Illinois was highly ranked going into
which was always overrated.
Penn State was highly ranked.
Sure. The Penn State game was the game.
And Washington.
Which somewhat tested them. They just couldn't get in the end zone.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
But looking at it at this point in the season, it's a cupcake schedule. I agree. It was a lot harder to start the season.
Yep.
The Texas game wasn't cupcake, but man, yeah. Patricia has that defense cooking.
They're really good.
Yeah, really good.
Also, this is so off topic, but have you seen our schedule for next year? Who we have to play?
Isn't it crazy hard?
It's a brutal schedule.
Yeah, I'm trying not to think about it.
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah. I know Ohio State's on it.
I think Oregon's on it too.
So
we play Ohio, which won't be easy.
Bowling
play
Green's
Bowling Green.
decent. North Dakota's top 10 in FCS.
We have Indiana, Ohio State, Washington, Illinois, Iowa, Michigan State, Oregon, Rutgers.
At you, okay. First of all, we're going to Autzen Stadium. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
It will be fun.
It's gonna be tough. Michigan State with a new head coach, likely.
Who decided to give us Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State?
And Washington.
And Washington.
I mean, Illinois without Altmaier, they're down. I mean, it's Bielema though. Bielema kills us. Hey, 9-3 Nebraska with that schedule makes the college football playoff.
It's a tough schedule.
Assuming Indiana doesn't fall off a cliff, which I don't think they will at this point. So,
unless Signetti leaves.
Well, he's a top 5 highest paid head coach in the nation right now, so I don't think he's going anywhere.
I wouldn't.
Unless the NFL comes knocking. But
all right. I think we can both agree group of 5 teams would either be James Madison or USF.
Or Tulane. Because I think that's or Tulane or North Texas. Because I think that's who USF plays in the conference title game. And I think they could both beat USF in a 1-game matchup.
Yeah.
But I agree. But
cool.
Real quick, back on the Big Ten real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Those games last week. Indiana and Penn State.
Crazy.
I have no idea how his foot did not touch the ground before his right foot came down on that game-winning catch.
I have no clue. It was I was with my family last week, and I think Indiana was up like 20-10 maybe. And we kind of stopped watching the game for a minute, and I looked down at my phone, and then I saw Penn State took the lead 24-20, and I was like, oh, okay, we better put that back on. And then absolute madness occurred. Yeah.
I have YouTube TV, so I wasn't able to watch any of the ESPN games, which is the games I wanted to watch because I wanted to watch Texas Tech BYU.
Yeah.
But I got stuck watching Penn State in Indiana. I'm like, man, I'm stuck watching this game. It's going to be a blowout. This is a waste of time.
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be the game of the weekend. So
Yep. Yeah, it was a good one. And then Oregon, Iowa was really fun to watch too.
Again, Dante Moore with an absolute dime in the cold rain to set up the game-winning field goal.
Yep.
Yeah. 2 quarterbacks with insanely clutch plays.
Yep. Wisconsin beat Washington.
That was awesome. And their leading passer for the game was their kicker with 34 yards passing.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yep. And their leading passer as quarterback was 1 second.
How in the world do you lose to a team that passed the ball for 48 yards?
Yep. Their starting quarterback went out, got benched after he was 3 of 12 for 8 passing yards. The backup came in and was 2 of 3 for 16. And I think it was the punter who was the holder on a kick or a fake punt. I forget what it was 1 for 1 for 24 yards and was the leading passer. And they won a game 13-10.
That's so funny.
The most Iowa game I've ever seen.
I know.
And I loved it. I actually loved every second of it because it was in Iowa.
And we won, so that just made it all the better.
That's true. set us up. But yes.
Well, go ahead.
Group of 5, I think it's going to be USF to go back to that. That's who I think is going to make it.
I agree. They seem the most talented.
I mean, you don't just go into the swamp and just get a win for fun.
Yep.
So that was crazy.
I agree. All right. Well, let's do a little preview of this week, if that sounds good to you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let's start out with Bama OU. I tipped my cap earlier. I think Bama's going to win. I was listening to Pate this week, though. Bama has struggled running the ball. I think Jam Miller's still hurt.
I thought he was back, but I might be wrong. I'll look.
He maybe is. But yeah, I think
he's back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think Bama wins the game. I think it's semi-close, like 10 or less. Ty Simpson's a really good quarterback. Bama's defense is really good. Oklahoma does have a good defense too. John Mateer just hasn't quite been the same since his hand injury.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's why I'm going to roll with Bama on this one.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think if Mateer is the Mateer of last season and very early on this season, I think Oklahoma can win this game. But I think they need Mateer to be Heisman winner Mateer, Heisman possibility Mateer. But yeah, 2 of the top 3 defenses in the SEC. The only problem is the weakness for Oklahoma's insanely good defense is their secondary, and Bama can't run the ball, so all they do is surgically cut you apart down the field with a bunch of dink and dunk passes, and I think they're going to be able to do just enough in this game.
Yeah,
I'd be shocked if anyone got to 30 points.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd also be shocked if anyone got over 150 yards rushing for the team.
Yeah, I do think since it being in Alabama, that'll definitely give Bama an edge for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This game would have been a really fun night game too.
It would, but it fits the. I mean, it also fits the back in the day CBS 2:30 window. So
yeah,
ABC's trying to steal that.
I was listening to Husker Online, and the CBS game this week is Michigan State Penn State.
Top tier game. The game like they have never seen before.
Both teams 3-6 fighting to keep their bowl hopes alive.
And this is happening while USC Iowa is on BTN.
Yep. They're like, they said Tony Batiti needs to call. They're like, I'm so sorry.
I can't believe they actually made that choice because they made the decision like last week, and they decided to do that.
Crazy. It's so crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Anything else to add on that one?
I guess only that I think it's going to be very similar to Alabama, LSU. Just I think Oklahoma gets a little more than 9 points, but I think it's close, but Bama's kind of in control the entire game. I think that's how it's going to feel.
Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame Pitt. What do we think about this one, Beck?
It's going to be an interesting game. Both teams are on, I think, 6-7 game win streaks. This is not the Pitt team that we expected coming into the season because Holstein got benched for a true freshman, and Pitt actually started playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it comes down to Pitt has a top five. What are they? They're the third best rush defense in the country versus Notre Dame's stacked running back room with Love and Price.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Love and Price are too much for the Pitt run defense. Plus, I think CJ Carr is the difference in this game. I think he does enough, and I think Notre Dame wins this by 2 score, 10 to 14.
Yeah,
But I think Notre Dame keeps rolling.
yeah. I think I'm with you for sure. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they won by even a little more than what you said. Um, I think CJ Carr is a really good quarterback.
I
Even
agree.
just watching like early in the season, he seemed very mature for a young quarterback, and so 19 TDs, 4 picks on the year. Um, yeah, I like Notre Dame in this one. Marcus Freeman's a real good coach. He's gonna have his players ready.
I agree. But I think it's closer. You got game day in town. I think Pitt's up for this one. I think it's close early, but Notre Dame pulls away.
Yeah, this will be a fun game to watch, though.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited for that one. I don't think it's quite as bad as last week's primetime matchup with Texas Tech BYU. So
Yeah, for sure. Okay, the game I'm probably most interested for this week, Iowa USC.
mhm.
I think USC wins, but like by like 1 or 2 points. Like maybe a last second field goal. I think Iowa's going to turn it into their type of game again, and
Mhm.
it's going to be like a 15-16, 16-17 type of game.
So I'm just gonna read for you exactly what I have written on my sheet, and that is USC wins by 2.
Okay, so we're in the very same boat.
I mean, also listening to Pate earlier this week, but the fact that it's going to be low 60s, high 50s for this game,
Uh-huh.
it's going to be raining. It's going to be an Iowa game. They just
Yep.
brought the weather with them.
Yep.
But I think USC is a lot tougher than people think. They're on their third and fourth string running back, and they still run the ball for almost 200 yards a game.
Yep.
But this game comes down to Mayava on the ground. I think Mayava has a few clutch rushes at the end of the game.
Mm.
I don't, yeah. It's either exactly what you said, a late USC field goal for the win, a late USC touchdown for the win, but both teams are going to be under 300 yards
Yep.
because they're going to have 5 possessions the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I think it's going to be very similar to Oregon, Iowa, but I think Mayava just being a lot better than Gronowski is the difference in this game.
I don't know if I want an Iowa win here, if I want an Iowa loss for when they play us in a couple weeks.
I mean, we want a ranked win, don't we?
Okay, then we want an Iowa win.
Exactly.
Go Hawkeye. No, I can't say
Nope,
that.
don't you dare.
Say it. I can't say it.
Nope.
I hope both teams lose.
I agree. Granted, I do like Lincoln Riley a little bit. I think he's turning that team around. But
After the game this year, though, I can't. I'm still a little bitter.
I mean, you should be because we should have won that game. Even after dealing with that, we still should have won that game. But
Yeah.
DJ was too green. Just not. So, quick question on that.
Yeah.
If Gramstad goes into the game at that point, do we win that game? TJ's definitely a better quarterback, but in that situation, he's not going to run in. He's not going to trip Emmett on 4th and 1. He's not going to do just those 3 or 4 plays that cost us. That was just TJ being.
As far as experience goes, it would have made more sense for Gramstead to go in. But I think you told me this. There's a reason TJ's number 2.
Right. I agree.
So yeah. I just don't think it was written in the stars. Not this year. We're just not there yet. We're at that point where Pate was talking about it. Like, he didn't say this in terms of Nebraska, but it's like when you become a powerhouse, you go from like crap to not so bad to okay to pretty good to elite. We're like in between the pretty good to good range. Like, we're starting to win close games, win the games we mostly should win. And then the further we keep going along with Rule, the more we're going to keep winning the games that we like, the big games. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, he was just saying in his press conference, we are a liquid team. We have cash in the bank ready to spend in the portal.
Yep.
And we have the 3rd best ranked class in 2027 right now?
Yep.
So we're building, but
we are.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
All right, last game of the week besides our upset pick. Texas, Georgia. Bulldogs by 7.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a low-scoring game. I'm thinking like 17-10.
I don't think it's that low scoring, but I do think it's close. I think this is the hardest one I had to pick, even more so than Iowa USC, because I don't like the optics for Georgia, who I think is the better team here. Because Georgia has a non-existent pass rush. They have, I think it was like 10 sacks this year, while Texas has 34. Texas is tied for the best pass rush in the SEC. Georgia, -2 turnover differential for the season, where Texas is +8, which is the reason Texas keeps winning these games. Plus, Texas has a bunch of clutch punt returns that has either been touchdowns or set them up to score touchdowns late. Because I keep tuning in to watch Texas lose, and they find ways to win these games. But I think I have a feeling this could be the Arch Manning game where everyone starts respecting him like they should, because he's not as bad as everyone says he is. They just all expected him to win the Heisman, which was because he's a Manning.
Yep.
But all that said, Georgia has a much better run game. Georgia's at home. Georgia never loses at home unless it's Alabama.
Yep.
I'm picking Georgia one possession max. I think it's closer than 7.
Cool.
And I don't feel good about it.
Yeah,
I think this is the game of the week.
I think Texas is a solid team for sure. So I'm curious.
I think Georgia's the much better team. I think Texas has the matchups to win this game. I think the matchup favors Texas.
Cool. It'll be a good one. That's a good night game too.
Yeah, that'll be a good nightcap.
Who's your upset pick this week, Beck?
So this goes along why we weren't talking about BYU so much earlier in the Big 12, because I think they lose this week at home hosting TCU. Very good TCU team coming off a loss to Iowa State. I think the Hoover to McAllister connection is too much. I think TCU gets up early. BYU has to pass the ball, and they're not good at passing the ball with the true freshman quarterback. And I think TCU wins this one close. Also, it's a reason why BYU's at home and they're only favored by 3.5. So, what does Vegas know that we don't?
Yeah.
That's mine.
Okay. Awesome. I'm staying in the Big 12 too. I think Baylor beats Utah this week at Baylor.
Okay, I looked at that one.
I think Baylor's got a great pass game. Sawyer Robertson. I'm going Baylor over Utah. I'm keeping the Utah hate alive.
We got to look good with our preseason picks on that one.
Yep. So I'm going Baylor.
I can see it.
You and I against the Utah teams this week.
Just we're more of a classic Big 12 fan, not this new West Coast Big 12.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, but I think both of them will be really good games. I mean,
I would agree.
Big 12, always some great football.
Absolutely.
So,
well, we've been on for almost an hour now. So let's finish up with some quick little Nebraska talk. And yeah, I think as far as Nebraska talk goes, gosh, EJ, man, he deserves some more national respect. So I'm really glad that Husker Nation's pushing the Heisman talk a lot.
Yeah, I just saw today that so you were able to vote on who you think should win the Heisman on the actual Heisman website.
Yep.
And EJ is currently second behind Rodriguez, the Texas Tech linebacker, in votes. And EJ wasn't even an option on there. You had to search him up in order to vote for him.
Yep. I voted for him.
I did twice.
There we go.
But he reminds me so much of Amir Abdullah, man.
Yeah.
I don't think he's been tackled by the first two people who touch him this season at all. It's insane how twitchy he is.
His just like little side moves that he does are just crazy.
And the side moves that work for no one else, but he knows exactly which side to go and where everyone is on the field for no reason.
It wasn't even this season, but that like a little sidestep he did last year against Boston College was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that one? Yeah.
I do.
Yep.
Yeah, that one was nasty. I mean, I just think of the which game was it? The Maryland game with like the 60-yard run at the end where
I was gonna say that.
out like
I think that
guys.
was his best play so far this year.
I think so. Yeah, he's been so good. Just winning the UCLA game single-handedly.
Yep.
But
I feel like such a proud dad. We never gave up on him.
I know. And this isn't the first time we've done this either. So maybe the coaches should actually listen to us more often. But
I think so. But, well, as far as the rest of the Nebraska season goes, Beck, How do we feel about the Penn State game? How do we feel about the Iowa game? I want to hear your thoughts before I share my thoughts.
I mean, I'll start with starting with Penn State. Ever since they started going downhill, they're 0-6 in the Big Ten. Penn State is right now.
Yep.
So it's definitely winnable. But we also just saw them play Indiana and show that if they care, they can show up.
Yep.
So I really think we end up 8-4. And I can't decide which one I think we win and lose.
I'm pretty set in my pick. I think we lose to Penn State and beat Iowa.
I would also lean we find a way to lose to Penn State. And the Iowa game's going to be garbage, as always. I mean, what has it been the last few years? It's been like 13-10.
13-10 the past 2 years.
Yeah, it's been the last 2 years.
Yep.
Oh, 2023 was the most. Oh, that's the most painful game I ever watched, I think.
It was so bad.
Losing to the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life. I don't even remember his name, but he was terrible.
Was it Petrus?
No, that was Deacon Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty sure that's who I'm thinking of.
I will say, I think we have a better chance of winning both games than we do losing both games.
I would agree. With this bye week, you give TJ some more time to work. We're going to commit to the run game. If we get 250 yards rushing each game, especially if we get 200 versus Iowa, I think we win that game. As long as we don't find a way to lose.
I will say, Penn State's passing attack isn't amazing.
No,
And
but he's coming into form though. He looked doable.
Just with our secondary.
Our secondary, yeah.
And so if we can just stack the box and finally stop the run against Penn State, we could shut them down early. But we'll see. I'm also very curious to see how our O-line is going to hold up against their D-line.
That's why I think we commit to the run. I don't think we're doing anything downfield that entire game. I think it's all underneath. I think it's all quick passes. It's all run game because we're not going to allow them to pass rush us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just worried about Kadron Allen and Singleton.
Yeah, me too.
Because with our record, they're going to break 2 minimum for long touchdowns.
Yeah.
So unless we fix that,
I'm more concerned about Penn State than I am Iowa.
I mean, you say that, but as I'm referencing the most painful game ever 2 years ago, when we get the ball and then I go use the bathroom and come back and we gave the ball back in that amount of time.
This team is
a way to lose the game.
Beck, this team is way better than 2023 Nebraska.
Did you watch the Minnesota game?
They're better, Beck, and you agree with me.
I do agree, but it's Big Ten West football.
I know.
We suck at Big Ten West football.
I feel better about the Iowa game than I do the Penn State game. I am very curious about the Rule coming back to Penn State thing, though.
That'll be interesting. I mean, they'll be up for it. Also, I want it to be known. It popped up that there are tickets available for the Penn State game for $12.
I figured. Beck, you want to come up? We can drive up.
Don't tempt me. I mean, going to college Beaver Stadium would be really cool, actually.
Hey, if you want to, tickets are really cheap for tomorrow.
That's also tempting, but we can talk about that later.
Cool. Yeah. So
I think it's 8-4.
I think so
I
too.
think 9-3 is very possible.
I think 9-3 is more possible than 7-5.
I agree. I'll agree with you. I think we get that good vibes going into the off season with it. Rule finally beats Iowa.
What's your bowl prediction?
If we're 8-4, I'm trying to think where we would end up at that point. Because I think do you think we would get the SEC matchup at that point, or would we just be below? I mean, we'd probably be ahead of Iowa, and people want us.
I
We
would
travel.
say we're probably ahead of Iowa at that point.
I mean, we both picked them to lose this week, so then they're a 4-loss team, and then we beat them, and they're 7-5.
Yep.
So, just trying to think the order.
I don't know like what team plays in what bowl game, like what conference it is.
I think we would end up on a New Year's game. That or
Yeah.
we end up in the is it the Holiday Bowl?
Which one?
Trying to think if the Big Ten's in the Holiday Bowl or not.
Can't remember.
But I think we would end up in a New Year's Bowl because I think the only teams ahead of us in the order of pick would be USC and Michigan. If we end up 8-4, because Minnesota's going to lose tonight. I think we're ahead of a Washington. We're ahead of Iowa at that point.
If
So we'd
if
be
we
the
had
third Big Ten team.
if we had to play any SEC teams, I would absolutely love to see Nebraska play Missouri.
So I'm looking at CBS right now. They have us in the Las Vegas Bowl versus Cal.
That'd be fun.
Which is December 31st. Another option, you got the Citrus December 31st, which has Michigan, Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma would be blast. I mean, Oklahoma, Missouri are kind of around the same range as what we're going to end up. Possibly Texas as well. All would be incredible bowl games.
I'd also kind of love to see Vandy lose one more game and us play Vandy.
That'd be a slugfest. That'd be first team to 15. But it would be a lot of fun. Yeah, the ones we want at the end of the season. And I guess Illinois might be ahead of us too if we lose one of the next two. But so you got Music City versus an SEC team on the 30th. You got the Rely Quest on the 31st versus SEC. You got the Citrus versus SEC on the 31st, and then the Las Vegas Bowl versus Pac-12. It says Pac-12, but it's ACC.
I'd love to play. Honestly, any SEC team would be fun.
Or Big 12.
Or Big 12. I don't want to play another ACC team.
I agree.
Yeah, Big 12 or SEC. So it'll be fun, man. I'm excited.
Just the fact that we don't have to worry about a bowl game right now is the best feeling ever.
I know. It's so nice. It's so good. Husker football will go into December, if not January.
As it should.
As it should. So, Beck, this has been fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, blast as always.
And hopefully now, as we don't have any travel plans, should be able to do this weekly now for the rest of the season. So
Yeah, round up the season.
absolutely. So, all right, everybody, this has been fun. We'll be back next week with a little more CFE podcast. So until then, we'll see you later.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.